Hey guys, this is Fuller and this is my guide to Ursa. Ursa is an agility melee hero. He's primarily a jungler but can go any lane. He's the #1 Roshan Killer in the game and is all about making Roshan his bitch. His passive ability is a great counter to heroes who want to fight you one-on-one, bear to man, as it adds an exponential damage the more you hit the same target over and over. His second ability is the main combo and a great counter to heroes who try to slow your attack speed. It easily lets you shrug them off and destroy them. His ultimate makes you nigh invulnerable, great when you're focus fired, it dispels minor buffs, and combined with Aegis, you really are a god on the battlefield. Lastly, his first ability gives a massive slow in an area around him. It's brilliant for ganking, so gank, and gank some more. They can try to run, but they'll fail. Does this sound like your type of hero? Then get ready. Starting with the early game, grab 2 tangos and a stout shield. We're not spending the rest of your gold as we're saving up for a mask. We need to kill Roshan early on, and that is our main game plan: kill Roshan as fast as possible. For abilities, skill Fury Swipes first. It shreds enemies to pieces and is what allows you to solo Roshan within mere minutes. Ursa is the only hero able to do this because of this skill. Now for the bounty runes, tell your team you intend to rush super fast, so please allow you to take it. You really need to get that mask as fast as possible. After, head straight over to the jungle. For early game skill build, it's always the same. We want 3 levels in Fury Swipes and 2 levels in Overpower, so that's 0, 2, 3 until you get your level 6 ultimate ability. The combination of these 2 abilities is what makes Ursa an absolute killing machine and slices through enemies like butter. Always remember, Overpower has a longer duration than its cooldown, meaning you can stack it up 2 instances. We'll go more into that later, but for now, jungling. There's 2 tricks you need to learn. Trick 1, you want to cut a path in the trees with your tangos so that only 1 creep can hit you at a time. You funnel them through fighting one-on-one. This minimises the damage you take, and those 2 tangos can now sustain you. Dire is the easiest. You cut this tree here and stand here, whilst over on the Radiant, these trees here standing here. Trick 2, if you don't kill the camps before every minute, make sure you walk away luring the creeps. This way it can stack up and you can walk back and resume your safety spot and keep farming, staying at full health. As soon as you have 900 gold, courier out a mask, then farm until you're level 5. You should be able to afford a smoke, clarity and a healing salve. Heal yourself up, restore your mana, then smoke into Roshan. You want to be full health and have at least 150 mana. It's crucial that you pre-activate Overpower. Remember how we said the cooldown is less than the duration? Well, before you attack him, wait until the cooldown is just about ready, get 4 attacks in, then instantly reactivate the ability. This gives you 8 near instant attacks, stacking up Fury Swipes damage. Now with your mask, you can now sustain with lifesteal and kill him. Once you kill Rosh, take a note of the time. He'll respawn roughly every 8 to 11 minutes, and you want to be back to kill him again and again and again. So you've now gained 3 levels instantly. Don't make the mistake of leveling up your second and third skill. No, we want Earth Shock, the first ability. From now on, we want to max that out along with your ultimate. You already deal more than enough damage to absolutely destroy most heroes. What we mainly need is ways to stop enemies escaping your claw range. For items, use your Rosh Gold to buy brown boots immediately. Eventually, upgrade into phase boots, and then your most important item, the dagger. These are your main core items. You need to get them as fast as you can. They change your gameplay completely. After Roshan, split your time between ganks and fast efficient farming. Try to sneak around onto enemies from behind, slam an Earthshock and kill. Going with any allied hero that can stun is an especially powerful combination. You only need mere seconds to get those kills in. With Aegis you can be a lot more reckless for kills, but don't get too crazy. If you see kill opportunities, go for it. Otherwise, rotate into empty lanes or the jungle. Remember, we still want those core items. Now once you get dagger, you really start to come online. This is where Ursa gets seriously scary. There's a few tips though for using a dagger much more effectively. 1. Always watch your prey closely. Many weak squishy heroes will have a stun or two up their sleeves, so wait for them to use those abilities, then pounce on them straight after whilst they're on cooldown. Without their precious little disables, you can slaughter them easily. 2. Use the same overpower trick we did on Roshan. Cast it before you go into a fight. This way you can attack immediately and recast it. Just make sure to earth shock so they can't run, phase boots to run through them, and ultimate for the extra damage. 3. Lastly, blink at optimal locations. If an enemy is running away in a certain direction, put yourself between them and that direction. This forces them to walk past you for extra attacks before they can even react. For gameplay, you need to be super aggressive now. You're looking for ganks at every chance you can get. Always carry a TP and consider buying smokes too to sneak around the map. Late game it will really play off where you're not as strong if you can devastate the enemy team at this point. Break towers and get your team as far ahead as possible. Alright, on to mid game items. There's 3 main items Vladimir's offering, Black King Bar and a Basher. Most games you just want to get a BKB above all else. Your biggest weakness is the need to always get up close and relying on your dagger. If you get stunned you are completely useless, so magic immunity is essential. Basher is especially effective with Ursa, as with your maximum attack speed ability overpower, the percent chance to stun will almost always trigger in a volley of attacks. The main aim though is eventually to upgrade it straight into an Abyssal Blade, but more on that later. Lastly, Vladimir's offering, it provides useful auras for the team, especially with a lot of melee heroes. Mostly though, the bonus mana regeneration lets you spam your spells more. For mid-game abilities, Earth Shock should be maxed out by now and 2 levels in your ultimate. Now we just max out all our other skills. Fury Swipes first, then Overpower, your ultimate and eventually stats as well. For mid-game play, you should continue to Roshan at every opportunity. Remember, we're taking notes of the times and always planning around the Roshan respawn. If you have a dagger, you no longer need to smoke in. You can jump in from behind without the enemy team knowing. You can easily do it solo, but at this point sometimes going together may be safer, and especially having wards set up outside is a really good idea. For team fights, they depend completely on whether you're holding an Aegis and a BKB. With neither, you need to be pretty cautious. Just like the early game ganks, stay out of range, wait for those stuns to be on cooldown, then blink in and kill. Try to avoid taking any damage during the fights, back out if you have to, just so that your blink dagger is always usable. Target weak squishy heroes first, and especially the stunners. Once they're out the way, you can simply fight to the death. That's what Ursa's made for. If you have a BKB, you can go straight onto the stunners, but beware of heroes with ultimates that pierce magic immunity. You can still go down fairly easily if focus fired. With Aegis, as always, you can dive straight in fairly recklessly. Still target the squishy heroes though and take them out. Sometimes note it's worth saving your BKB until you die and respawn with your Aegis, then activating it afterwards. This gives you more safety on your last life if you need to back out to survive. Alright, onto the late game for items. There's 2 main items you should be aiming for. The primary one is a Abyssal Blade, upgraded from your Basher. With this you can jump on virtually anyone and kill them before they can even react. It's always a good item to have, useful as it can pierce magic immunity. The second item is Lincoln Sphere. It's good versus enemy heroes with those ultimates that can lock you down, especially even better if you already have a BKB. Usually they'll be able to pop the Lincoln Sphere with a dud spell or item, then quickly use their ultimate. If you have BKB up and a Lincoln Sphere, they can't do anything against you, but fight better to man. Lastly, 2 bonus items. Cypher Vice, one has its uses. It's a very expensive item, but if you need that extra disable, especially against enemy hard carries. And Satanic is great for that burst of lifesteal. It's another super expensive one, but worth having if you can afford it for those really long games. For late gameplay, your strength starts to dip as harder carries start to take over. Also, a lot of those heroes that you could previously easily take out suddenly now have escape items too. Full Staff, Earl Scepter is really annoying. Going for Roshan becomes a lot riskier now as well. You almost definitely don't want to go alone. If you get jumped by the enemy team, the game can be lost there and then. For team fights, you're no longer as scary and less seriously far ahead. This is why overall it's important to put so much pressure on the enemy team. Early game, as soon as you get your dagger, always remember Ursa's damage comes from his abilities and is strongest mid game. For friends, there's mostly two things you should look out for. One, Ursa loves to have strong stunners and disablers, especially early game. It makes kills incredibly easy. My personal favourites are Disruptor and Shadow Shaman. And two, since you're going jungle and as you need a clear 5 minutes to farm and Roshan, you want a team that you're sure are self-independent in lanes early on. That means a solid mid, off lane, and usually a dual safe lane team. If they're lacking in any way and gonna get steamrolled, consider not playing Ursa. For enemies, your worst nightmares are ones with ultimates that pierce magic immunity. Big disables can ruin your day and it's hard to do anything about it, so heroes like Shadow Demon and Bane are horrible for you. Also, heroes who can scout and keep an eye on the Roshan pit permanently, they're really annoying, you'll never be able to sneak in. Beastmaster, Techies and Bloodseeker with his passive spring to mind. Lastly, late game carries will eventually destroy you if you don't severely brutalise them early on or end the game fairly fast. Alright, that's it for this Ursa guide. I got so many requests for more Dota guides and I really enjoyed making this one. I hope it helped you out. You can subscribe to me on Steam so you can enable this guide in your game. It will tell you what items to buy, what abilities to skill, etc, etc. If you have any questions or any other tips you want to share on Ursa, post them below. Let me know what hero you want next. Please like, subscribe. Thanks guys, and I'll see you on the next one.